Let's move on. We want to tackle the next story. CSOs are threatening a demonstration because HIV, TB, etc. drugs have been locked up at the port. The Ghanaian Times headline says $40 million donated drugs locked up at port. CSOs appeal for president's intervention. We have on the front page of the Anchor, CSOs in HIV, TB threatened demo over locked up drugs at Tema Port. And this, a lot of papers are carrying this. We also have it on citynewsroom.com. But it's a very, very, very serious situation. And let me just read tidbits of the story from the Anchor newspaper. And it says here, a group calling itself Coalition of CSO networks in HIV, TB, and malaria are threatening to stage a nationwide demonstration on Wednesday, the 17th of April, over government's continuous delay in clearance of some life-saving drugs currently locked up at the ports. Take note, life-saving drugs currently locked up at the ports. Government's continuous delay. I'm just underscoring some of these points. Now, why the delay? Touching on why the drugs were stuck at the port, Mr. Orton said that after the Global Fund had released $400,000 to clear the commodities, the government wrote back to the donors saying the required fund needed to clear the goods amounts to $1.3 million since import duties at the ports have shot up. Can I just say that we are
Go ahead.
for a lack of I can't figure out any other way to describe it except that we are morons. You know, we need to be. Somebody has brought drugs.
Free of charge.
Somebody has brought drugs. Now, you can decide that the drugs are for us. They are our drugs. We need them in our hospitals. We can have some people pay them at the user end, right? And so we'll make a little money at the user end, but they are for our people. Take the drugs, put them into the system, and begin the usage. But someone has also given you $400,000 dashed you money. First of all, they dashed you the drugs, they dashed you the money. Then you have the audacity
To write back to them.
And say, oh, it's not 400,000 M.
$1 million.
It's 1.3 million because we who determine the price of things at the port. So we who determine the price. So the price are shot up. It's like children are the ones in charge of things. Paul.
I was hoping you would fire more.
No, it's okay. I have a lot more to say, but this is your time. Please go ahead.
Ghana is a very sad country. If you have ever been to the hinterlands to look at the health situation of our people, weeping will be an understatement. Hospitals are in dire need of these, drugs. I've had the chance to work with an NGO, ActionAid Ghana. And almost all the time, we have HIV people coming around, all right? So we support them. You have an organization that has donated in excess of 40 million USD drugs to you as a country, because you know that your HIV rate is high, you still have TB cases and what have you. And then they supported that. It didn't end there with the 40 million they sent. It didn't end there. They sent $400,000 to help clear. And then you as a state, you have the audacity You have the guts and the temerity to write back to them, telling them that...
And the shamelessness, really.
Come on. To tell them that your port charges have shot up, you need in excess of 1.3 million and not the 400 million they sent down. Excuse me to say, what sort of country are we? There was a situation where one footballer also wanted to donate hospital equipment to Ghana, to one health facility. In fact, the items came to the port, and then when he wanted to clear them, he was met with so much. And he said, listen, these are not for my personal use. This is to a particular hospital.
Yeah.
And he mentioned that he is donating these items to them. Then they said, well, my brother, you cannot donate these items until and unless you pay these fines. He said, but you are able to give waivers to organizations, so and so. So why are you not allowing this? Because this is for our own benefit. It's going to a health facility, not my private hospital. This is even a government hospital. And guess what? He had to go to another country in Africa here and donate those items to them. And they welcomed him with open arms. Your own country is denying you. So why am I even surprised about this?
So when I use the word I used, I mean, I'd make no apologies for it because
At
really,
all.
that's what we are.
And it's as though our health situation, we really don't care about our health. Remember when, what's the name? This facility in Tema got bent, where we store
The
our
central
drugs.
stores,
Thank
central
you.
medical stores.
How long did it take us to refurbish that place?
Is it even back to scratch?
That's another thing. So, honestly, Kabutey, go on.
Yeah.
Go on.
You see, I will join the demonstration. I will join the demonstration. This is a matter of life and death, like my brother said. And for me, on counts of such demonstrations, as you see me, I mean, I'm like that. I mean, I'm not scared of any policeman.
And we are all joining. It's not about even security personnel.
I respect the security forces. I respect soldiers. I respect police people. But far back then, you didn't even try demonstration.
Yeah.
May so rest in peace, Honorable Kojoban Redu. And the soul of Honorable Kwashiga also rest in peace. At the Kwashi runabout, Kwashiga saw Honorable Kwashiga.
The user fees,
yes,
university user fees.
Yes. I was holding my barricade. I carried it all the way from Legon to the ministry.
It will be hard, guy.
No. I mean, no. Respectfully,
Not just hard guy, very stubborn guy.
Respectfully, when it comes to positive defiance, I feel go off. When I know it's about life and death, no soldier, no police. I dare you, no soldier, no police can stop me. Like this one, when I have to go and give a petition to the minister, unless you kill me, respectfully, unless you kill me.
We are all going on.
Because this is a matter of life and death. And this is a display of carelessness, recklessness, wickedness. Yeah. I mean, heartlessness.
Yeah.
You watch people who don't care. Because when we were talking about the dialysis, nobody cared. And 13 people died. And Ghanaians sat down and watched them. But who fails it knows. So we are there. Look, I served on the AIDS Commission Board, humbly. I represented Ghanaian students. I was then the National NUCS executive. And so this carelessness about ARV, it didn't start today. Far back then in 2005, our last meeting in the speaker's chamber, I remember then His Excellency Aliu Mama was the one chairing the meeting. I was a student leader. The fire was on. Then I stood up and I said to him that the whole of the northern region didn't have a center
for antiretrovirus.
He sat back in his chair like this. I mean, a vice president, he also came from the north.
Yeah.
He didn't know about this.
Yeah.
So he was like, repeat yourself. And I repeated it. I am that bold. I repeated it again. Then he said, is that true? He said to Professor Sai and then Professor Okusechi. And then they had a discussion. In one of our meetings, again around our ARVs, one respected man carelessly said to me, if they solved all the HIV problems, we wouldn't have been sitting in that meeting. That is the mindset. I'm telling you.
So the agenda is that we shouldn't solve all the problems.
Well, that
so
is
that
for
we
you.
can continue
Well, that is for you to say.
Eat from the problem.
Well, that is for you to say. the carefree attitude has always been there.
That's like a child at play.
The carefree attitude. And I repeat again, the two of you have said it so well. Our problem is a thinking problem. So you need a JSS boy to see the situation, and that JSS boy will tell you that, say, Sadia, yenche drugs, say, can't yenchro into no China. Where are you taking the money? Into your consolidated fund, right? Or you have to take cash at all costs. It can be a check. You can wait for it. You can get the check now and go in. But it is life and death. If it arrives late, somebody might have, waited for too long and will leave. Now, when you get the money and the drugs are still there, will you administer it to the dead body? Respectfully, I ask. So the next thing to look at is, look, people don't just care. Not all the patients, you see, in the wicked thinking of some people, they think these are careless people who just carelessly got AIDS. Some people were in justified relationships. They were victims.
Yeah.
A careless wife or husband could have just given that disease to that person.
And you don't even have to even be careless.
It could also not be even occupational hazard.
Yes. Because when we talk about, when we do the AIDS campaign, we talk about, what do they call the sharpies?
Yes.
And all those things that can catch you.
Even crubbing at the barber shop. In some parts, they are using raw blades now.
Yes.
And some people can share blades. These days, I see people using the scissors to cut these young men who are cut. And I'm like, these sharp objects, and all manner of people can use it from the next person to the next person.
Right.
So in their careless stance, they should really rethink it. But are you surprised? Didn't you hear the ECG say that they are going to put off light at Kolebu?
Yeah.
And that morning I told my wife, look, I wanted to hear that they have started putting off the lights. With all due respect, maybe if we take a slap for somebody to stop it, we'll slap. Because whose son or daughter should be on an operation bed for somebody to say that Kolebu is owing?
Yeah.
So that person is going to put off that switch. So for who to die? And then you come back and say, well, we are sorry, we didn't know, it was... I don't like explanation when it comes to death. Somebody watched, you see, I'm a victim.
Yeah.
Somebody watched my sister who had drowned in the sea, who was actually rescued by a white man. She was sent to 37 hospital. They said my siblings should go and bring their parents. When they returned, she was gone. So I'm a victim. So when it comes to some of these issues of one nurse playing careless or one doctor playing careless, it's another matter. Yeah. But when an ECG official will tell you that you are going to put off the light deliberately because they owe money, when some of your officials themselves do the backdoor things and we know about it, that one we shouldn't discuss it. These are the final issues. It's a matter of being insensitive and being heartless. Somebody does not care.
Yeah. Because
it's not their wife or their child in the situation and not themselves. Now, the gross inaction on the part of the Ministry of Finance and GRA is unfortunate. Because you could have just let these drugs go. You just take stock of the drugs, know how much it would cost.
Yeah.
And then if you want to ask penalty or whatever, it's on the head of the government of Ghana who will pay for it. And then let the drugs go because the patient needs it now. Yeah. And it must be administered as we see it. Look, but the irony is that same government is calling on me that we are going to give $449 million in exemptions to one district, one factory companies. Right. And same government, in the time we speak, a company was sitting down, as they said, that they were sitting down and GRA granted them, in fact, they were sitting there somewhere, and GRA granted them 1 million cedis tax exemption. You remember that La Bianca case?
Right.
So, if you hear all these, and the matter on the table, you are ready to grant $449 million.
Right.
But some people, their lives. And the funny thing is that this one is free. Somebody has dashed it to you. So, you see, you dash a man rice to go and cook.
Yeah.
He came back, he wants charcoal. And for that reason that they don't have a charcoal, you see his children. They are sitting down and they are feeble. They are just crying on the ground. You look at the man. What will you call him? Me, I'll choose my word. This is a useless man. I'll call that man a useless man. When I'm seeing same man sitting at the beer bar, having fun with bottles. Yeah. Because in this country, in this very country, when you go and read the Auditor General's report, you will see corruption in there. You see those who are chopping left, right, and center. Yeah. And when it comes to health issues, don't be bothered. Okay? Don't bother yourself thinking too much about it, because you know why? We have sat down and watched others to complain when they are sick. So why would they be concerned? The people who are taking these decisions, when they get sick, it takes only a letter for them to complain, and they'll go and do all the healthcare outside. One thing I told some of my colleagues when we were discussing this matter is that I said it is time for us to all lock in and stay in here and die.
Well,
we must lock in and stay in here and die.
We definitely have to put their feet to the fire and make sure that they
No,
don't
not feet to fire matter. I'm saying when it comes to health, nobody should get any state money to fly outside this country and go for treatment. Let everybody go. If it is you are finding yourself in the situation, go to UGMC, go to Kolebu. When you don't get it in, stay in here and die. Just like anybody else.
All right.